Good morning. So today we're going to start with lesson 1 from this packet that we have here. So I'm going to flip the page and go to lesson 1. And here are the notes for lesson 1. So we're going to start taking those today. So lesson 1 is our introduction to exponents. So first we have an aim. How can you write numbers in different ways? And then our do now is what's another way we could write 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5? And then brainstorm, what's another way we can maybe write 2 times 2 times 2 times 2? So take a second to do the do now, pause this video, and then we'll come back and complete it. All right, so another way that we could write 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 would be, this is adding repeated addition 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So another way we could write it is 5 times 6, and that would give us 30. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is repeated multiplication. And 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 2 is 16. So if we just did 2 times 4, because it's written 4 times, that would give us 8. So that's not correct. So that's actually what we're going to learn to do today. So when we are rewriting something with repeated multiplication, we use something called exponents. So that number that you see being multiplied is something we call the base. So it's a big number, base, big number that's a 2. And it's written 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So it's 2 to the 4th power. So that's how we would write it. So if we take a look here, I have the big number. The number that's being multiplied is the 2. And I see it's 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So it becomes 2 to the 4th power. If I look here, I have the number 7 being multiplied. So I have the number 7 as my big number. And then we want to count how many times is that 7 being multiplied. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's a little 7 up there as my power. So then I have negative 2 being multiplied multiple times. So I have the negative 2 as the big number and as our base or big number. And since I have the negative, I want to make sure it's in parentheses. And then I need to count how many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's being multiplied 5 times. So I add to the 5th power there. So it'll be the same thing with variables. So here I have my W. So I want to write out my W since that's being multiplied. And I see it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, so I have my power of a 4. So here I have 3 times 3 times y times y times y. So this is 2 different expressions being multiplied together. So I have the 3 is being multiplied first. So first I see that big 3. And how many times do you see that 3? Well, you see it 2 times, so it's 3 to the 2nd. And then next you see the y is being multiplied. And the y is being multiplied 3 times. So it becomes y to the 3rd. So you just write them directly next to each other, or you could even put a multiplication symbol in between. So then the next one, we have 4 times m times 4 times m times 4 times m. So here I have the 4s being multiplied, so I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 4s. I'm going to draw my 4, and it's 3 times. And then I have my m's, 1, 2, 3, so I have the m there. 3 times, so it becomes 4 to the 3rd, m to the 3rd. All right, so then we want to expand. So say I see the number written as an exponent, but I want to expand it and show what it would look like with that repeated multiplication. So here I have 3 to the 3rd power. So remember, the big number is the number that you're going to see written out. So I have the 3. And how many times do I have that 3? Well, here it tells me it's written out 3 times. So 3 is written out 3 times, and that tells me I'm going to do 3 times 3 times 3. I'm multiplying it. And then when you do 3 times 3 times 3, you could put it in your calculator, and you get 27. So then if we look, we have 2 to the 5th power, so that big number or base number that you see there is the 2. So that's the number that you're going to see written out. And the exponent or the power or the little number up there, the 5, tells you how many times you're going to be writing that 2. So I need to write that 2 out 5 times. And they're all being multiplied. So then if we want to write it in standard form or write the solution for when we do 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, we get 32. Then we have 7 to the 4th power. So we want to see, we need to write that 7 out. And how many times do we need to write it out? We need to write it out 4 times. So this gives us 7 7, 7, and 7. And remember, they're all being multiplied. So when we multiply 7 times 7 times 7 times 7, we get 2,401. All right, so then here we have 6 to the third written. So we're going to write down those definitions that we talked about a little more formally. So 6, that big number, is called our base. And our base is the number that is being multiplied. And then the little top number that's smaller on the top is called our exponent, or our power. And what the exponent or the power represents is the number of times that the base is being multiplied. So now, just looking at these examples, I want you to identify for me what is the power and what is the base. So looking at 9 to the second, we're going to say the power is that little number there, the 2. And the base is always the bigger number, which is the 9 here. So I want you to take a second, pause this video, try these, and come back to check your answers. So if we look here, 5 to the 4th, our power is that little 4 there, and our base is the 5. 8 to the 3rd, the power is that 3 there, and our base is that 8. 6 to the 7th, the power is that little 7, and the base is the big 6. So if you notice, here I have 9 to the 2nd power, 8 to the 3rd power, 5 to the 4th power. But when you have a power of 2, there's a special way to say it. So a power of 2 is also called squaring a number. So, for example, 6 to the 2nd is actually 6 squared. That's just another way that you can say it. Then a power of 3 has a special way to say it as well. A power of 3 is also called cubing a number. So 4 to the 3rd is actually pronounced as 4 cubed. All right, so now looking at these expressions, I want you to write each of these in exponential form. So we see it written as -5 times -5 times -5 times -5. Our base is always that number that we see. So our base would be a -5 there. Remember, since it's a negative, we put our parentheses around it. And then our exponent is, how many times do I see that? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So our exponent is that little 4 on top. Question number 2. We have 3 times 3 times q times q times q. Remember, we want to separate it. So the first thing I see there is my 3. And how many times is it 3 there? Well, it's there twice, so it gets an exponent of 2. Then the next thing I see there is my q. And I see the q there 3 times, so my exponent is 3. And remember, we have a special way of pronouncing this. Would be 3. Since it's to the 2nd, it's 3 squared. And q, since it's to the 3rd, it's q cubed. I want you to take a second, try 3 and 4, and come back to check your answer. All right, so if we look at this one, we see the m there, so our m is our base. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 m's, so our exponent is written as 6. And then here we see 4's first. So I have my base of 4, and the 4 is written 3 times, so that's our exponents. And then I have the w, and the w is written 3 times, so that's my exponent. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to complete practice worksheet number 1. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment on this video or on the post on Google Classroom.